Yeah. Hi everyone. So here in this video, I'm trying to explain how do we perform regression analysis using slightly a complex data set. When I talk about complex data set, I meant, here I have a dependent variable selling price and the independent variables are kilometer driven, fuel type, seller type, transmission and owner. So in this fuel seller, transmission and owner are categorical variable. I'm going to explain the procedure. How do we consider categorical variable in linear regression equation? So whenever we look at categorical variable in linear regression equation, we typically create something called as dummy variable. If you ask me what is dummy, typically we need to create numerical coding to the categories. For example, if I look at the variable fuel and I have four categories. For example, I have CNG, electric, diesel, and petrol. These are the four categories of fuel. So what I do, in order to do that, I'll create and four different columns. I'll insert four columns here, and let me insert four columns. And I'm going to tell you how do we do dummy coding. So the four column 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I'll say um, fuel. I'll make it CNG, and I'll say fuel. So that I'll say diesel, and I say fuel electric, short form I apply, and fuel petrol. These are the four. So what I'm going to do, wherever CNG happens, I will code it as 1, otherwise 0. That's what the coding. This coding scheme called as a one hot encoding or dummy coding. So I use the if conditions. I say if this E column equal to, I would say CNG. So I would say make it as 1. Otherwise, I call it as 0. I call it as 0. I'll close the bracket, put enter. So wherever CNG is there, we'll code it as 1. Otherwise 0. So I'll create like that. Same is the case with respect to what this one. So here in this case, what I do, instead of CNG, I'll keep what diesel. So diesel spelling DIESEL, D capital, and DIESEL, and wherever diesel comes in, I'll keep it as 1, otherwise 0. You look at wherever diesel cars are there. Let me look at spelling. I need to check if not F2, this will be E2. Let me check it. Yeah. So then again, wherever electric cars are there, I believe here there is one electric car. I need to check it. Where is that? And yeah, one electric car. So I will extend here also. I will say instead of this, I'll make it E2. Let's say electric is 1, otherwise 0. And I need to look at whether there is only one electric car. It has been actually coded correctly or not. Yeah, it's been coded correctly. Then I have petrol. The last set of car is petrol, right? I'll say same thing. I'll extend here. I use but here E2. Then I use the word petrol 1, otherwise 0. Let me check it. And yeah, done it. Same is the case with the seller type. So let me look at the seller type also. So I have dealer, individual, and trust mark dealer. There are 3 categories. And let me create 3 dummies. Yeah, I'll say seller, say dealer, then I have seller individual, seller trust mark. Okay, so it's trust mark dealer, individual. Let me check. I use a word if, and dealer equal to, that column is equal to dealer, then call it as 1, otherwise 0, make it 1, then here I have individual, same thing I can extend, then I can say not k to j2 is equal to individual, call it as 1, otherwise 0. Let's see whether individual is being coded. Yes, individual is being coded. Then I have trustmark dealer. Let me extend to j2. Here j2 is trustmark dealer. Let me check whether it's happened or not. Yeah, it happened. Then transmission, I have manual and automatic. I'll create 2 columns here for that. And let me create insert. I'll save it. I have, then I can say trans underscore manual. That's what I meant. I say trans underscore automatic. So I would say is equal to if, then equal to manual, manual, then call it as 1, otherwise 0. Yeah, it happened. So the same case, I'll say n2 is equal to automatic, 1, otherwise 0. So if you see, wherever automatic is there, call it 1. The third one, first owner, second owner, third owner type is, there are 3 type of owner type. I'll create what? Owner first owner type vehicle, owner second, then I use the word owner third. So owner first, what I do, I use if conditions is equal to first owner and 1, otherwise 0. I'll make it, and the same thing will apply to these 2, but this time I say second owner, then it's not R2, Q2, 0. Let's see wherever second owner, same thing here, it's Q2, third owner. Yeah, I have done it. So what I'll do, I'll copy the complete data and see that. I'll copy paste the same data. In order to protect the data, I'll copy paste. And when I copy paste that, even before that, I just want to do something more, because I want to calculate the age of the vehicle here. Here, if I see my data here, you can see that year So the year of make or manufacture year is mentioned, so I can calculate age. Age is nothing but, let's assume 2024 is the sales, and 2014 that it's been sold, so the age is almost 10 years for the first one. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy the entire data and put it in sheet 1 and paste it here. And here in this data, look at here, or let me do one thing, let me paste it as space special and put all the values here so that I don't care about the formula. So I try to delete some unnecessary variable. Here I don't need, and here the name of the vehicle also I don't need. I need delete unnecessary variable. Selling price, the original variables I delete. Fuel I don't need. I keep the dummies, and I delete the original variable here. Yeah. So I just got left with only dummies, right? So what I do, so as per the dummy variable thing, generally there is a recommendation is that whenever you do dummy variable creation, you need to drop, if you have k categories, k minus one dummy we need to create. But whichever dummy we omit, so I would say rename with dummy data. So this is what the original data I have after dropping unnecessary columns. Age, selling price is going to be my dependent variable, and kilometer driven was a number, but all the others are dummy variable. I have created dummy. So what I do here, everywhere I'll drop the first dummy. This dummy I'll drop because k category k minus one dummy. Dealer I just want to drop this, and then seller, individual, trustmark dealer. Then you have manual or automatic. Let me drop the first one. Anything you can drop, okay, but you need to remember that is. Then first owner I'll drop it, okay. So these are the things which I thought of dropping. So remember, whichever category you drop, you remember. So that's what the mandate. If k category k minus one dummy we need to keep. So this is primarily to avoid high correlation between independent variable. We call it as multicollinearity. Typically, that is a suggestion. K category, K minus one dummy. For example, fuel, we have 4 different types of fuel vehicle, and I drop anything. First one I drop. The dropped, dummy, we call it as benchmark dummy. Benchmark dummy. You always remember that. So what I do, in order to facilitate better, I copy once again. I paste it here in new column. So I would even call it as what, rename after removal. Okay, I'll just try to remove all these things so that every category I dropped one dummy. So you remember, fuel, CNG dropped, seller, dealer dropped, and manual and owner type, first owner dropped. So you remember that. And now what is left? Diesel, electric, petrol, and individual, the dealer lost, trustmark dealer, and manual lost. And this is what the data. So now the data is ready. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually keep all the independent variable. Let me keep all the independent variable one side. Base special. I keep all the independent variable one side. So this is already pasted, right? So in order to facilitate actually, smooth analysis, I just kept all the independent variable one side, dependent variable first. Okay, and let me look at the analysis. I go to data, I look at data analysis, I'll go to regression, I get the regression. This is my dependent variable, and select, and all the others, like this is going to be my independent variable including dummy. I click labels, I click OK. Now you can see there's a regression equation here in the regression equation. So whenever we interpret the regression equation, you can see, and how do we interpret, I'll tell you. Here kilometer driven is the first variable, so I can say that is a negative variable. So it is, let's look at whether it's significant also. As you'll see, got the p value p-value, precise value, e 0.09 means that many zeros would be on the left side of it. Okay, that's what the meaning here. So it's typically say that a kilometer driven, in the sense a vehicle with more kilometer driven, the price reduces, and it actually significant as well. And now when it comes to these dummies, because diesel, electric, petrol, I omitted what in particular, this one is called as what CNG I just omitted. We can say it is also significant. So whenever we look at the omitted category, I said the omitted category from that is nothing but what CNG, right? CNG from that, and the other one would be dealer. The other one would be manual, and would be first owner, right? Now, please remember this one. Whenever we look at the interpretation here, uh, fuel diesel, right? This value says what? Look at here. Value says that diesel vehicles are expensive or price high with respect to the CNG vehicle, which is almost around 22 lakh 69,000, almost around 2 lakh 69 572. Okay, this is what the meaning. So if you ask me, because I omitted that category, the omitted category is going to be benchmark. You cannot say that one unit increase in independent variable in this case, because here it's a categorical variable. If you look at electric vehicles are not highly priced compared to, because its prices are almost lower. How much it is lower? It's almost by 6,22,000 lower. That's what the meaning. But p value says it's not significant. But petrol vehicles are it's expensive, even actually not that expensive, and that's what the meaning. When it comes to this particular coefficients, I would say that seller individual, which says that what the benchmark category is dealer, uh, those vehicles with seller individual with respect to seller dealer, seller individual prices are actually relatively lower side. That's what the meaning. Its prices are on lower side. Similarly, trustmark dealer versus dealer. Trustmark dealer owned vehicles are expensive because the value is positive. That's the reason. And age also having a negative. Age is a continuous variable. Transmission automatic, because manual we omitted. Automatic vehicles are expensive by 8,68,820. So that's what the meaning. So what I do, I'll provide a detailed explanation with respect to all these dummy coefficients in this video. Please make sure that whenever you run the analysis and you convert categorical variable into dummy, you always omit one category, in the sense k category, k minus one only you keep, run the regression, and make sure that whenever you interpret the results are differences, in the sense a difference between the included category versus omitted category. So that's a way in which we interpret, because we cannot say increase in independent variable in this case, because rather would say there exists a difference in terms of dependent variable between included category versus omitted category. That you need to keep in your mind. Okay, I'll give you the interpretation in the Word document form. Just look into it.